In February 2025, a Datafolha survey sent shockwaves through Brazil's political landscape, capturing the attention of politicians, analysts, and everyday citizens alike. The results quickly became the talk of the nation, dominating headlines and sparking heated debates across television, radio, and social media. President Lula's approval rating dropped to just 24%, the lowest of his current term. For a leader who once enjoyed widespread support, this dramatic fall was both unexpected and alarming, raising urgent questions about the direction of his administration. This sharp decline signals growing public dissatisfaction and marks a turning point for the administration. Across the country, people voiced their frustrations, with many expressing disappointment over unfulfilled promises and ongoing economic challenges. The poll's detailed breakdown shows support eroding across regions and social groups, not just among the opposition. Even traditional allies and core supporters began to question the government's ability to deliver on its commitments. The so-called honeymoon period is over. The government now faces a skeptical and demanding public. Ministers and advisors scrambled to respond, aware that regaining trust would require more than promises. It would demand real change. This data is more than a number. It's a map of shifting loyalties and rising discontent. Each percentage point lost represents thousands of voices calling for accountability, transparency, and solutions to Brazil's pressing problems. As we look back from December 2025, that February poll stands as a critical moment, forcing the government to confront new realities. It became a catalyst for political recalibration and a test of leadership under pressure. Let's examine what the numbers reveal and what they mean for Brazil's future, as the nation stands at a crossroads, searching for answers and a renewed sense of hope. The February Datafolha poll painted a grim picture for Brazil's political landscape, sending shockwaves through both the government and the public. The findings were not just numbers on a page. They signaled a significant shift in the nation's mood and priorities. President Lula's approval rating fell by a dramatic 11 points since December, now standing at just 24%. This sharp drop is a clear indication that public confidence in his leadership is eroding rapidly, raising concerns among his supporters and fueling debate across the country. Meanwhile, disapproval surged to 41%, a 7-point jump that underscores growing dissatisfaction. Those rating the government as regular also edged up to 32%, suggesting that many Brazilians are uncertain or on the fence about the administration's direction. The net approval rating has now hit negative 17 points, a stark figure that highlights a country more critical than supportive. This negative balance is a warning sign for any administration, revealing a deepening rift between the government and the people. This dramatic shift in public opinion emboldens the opposition, giving them new momentum to challenge Lula's policies. At the same time, it strains the president's coalition, as some allies begin to reconsider their support and weigh their own political futures. The numbers reflect real frustrations on the ground: economic anxieties, social tensions, and deepening divides that touch every corner of Brazilian society. Rising prices, job insecurity, and political uncertainty are fueling a sense of unease. These aren't just statistics. They're a snapshot of millions of Brazilians who are losing faith in the government's promises and questioning whether real change is possible. The poll's rigorous methodology ensures these results carry real weight. They're a true reflection of the national mood, capturing voices from all walks of life and regions of the country. To fully understand what these numbers mean, we need to look at the historical context that shaped them. Next, we'll explore how past events have influenced today's political climate. Lula's approval rating in February 2025 dropped to just 24%, marking the lowest point of his current presidency so far. This figure is especially striking when you consider Lula's long political career and his previous popularity with the Brazilian public. The sharp decline has sparked widespread debate among analysts and citizens alike, with many questioning the causes behind such a dramatic fall in support. In fact, Lula's current approval is even lower than during the height of the Mensalão scandal in 2005, a major corruption crisis that rocked his administration and led to mass protests across the country. Back in his earlier terms, Lula was celebrated for his social programs and economic growth, enjoying approval ratings that consistently stayed above 50%. His popularity reached its peak in 2010, when an impressive 83% of Brazilians approved of his leadership, making him one of the most popular presidents in Brazil's history. However, his third term, which began in 2023, has been marked by much more modest numbers. Approval ratings have averaged around 36%, while disapproval has hovered at 31%. These figures reflect a more cautious and skeptical public, less willing to give unconditional support. For comparison, at a similar point in his presidency, Jair Bolsonaro's approval rating was 31%, with disapproval at 40%. This shows that Lula's current numbers, while low, are not unprecedented in recent Brazilian politics. Both leaders have faced intense polarization, but Lula's current challenges are compounded by a tougher economic climate, rising inflation, and a more divided electorate than ever before. The country is grappling with unemployment, high living costs, and widespread frustration, all of which have eroded public trust. The record low approval rating reflects not just political opposition, but also a significant loss of confidence among many of Lula's former supporters, who once believed in his promises of change and progress. As Lula faces mounting pressure, he now governs a country that is less united and more demanding than ever before, with citizens expecting real solutions to Brazil's deepening problems. The most alarming trend is the loss of support in Lula's traditional bases. In the Northeast, approval plunged 16 points, from 49% to 33%. Among the least educated and lowest income Brazilians, approval dropped sharply, groups once solidly behind Lula. Women and older voters also turned away, with double-digit declines in approval. Even among those who voted for Lula in 2022, approval fell from 66% to 46% in just 2 months. This isn't just opposition at work, it's disappointment from those who once believed in his promises. The government's core supporters are losing faith, signaling a deeper crisis than simple partisan backlash. The erosion of this base is a warning the administration can't ignore. Economic worries are at the heart of Lula's falling approval. Lower-income Brazilians, hit hardest by inflation and job insecurity, have seen little improvement in daily life. The government's promises to put the poor back in the budget haven't translated into real relief. Even higher-income groups show deep disapproval, reflecting broader concerns about fiscal policy and economic direction. Positive macroeconomic data means little if families feel their situation worsening. The perception of stagnation or decline is widespread, cutting across class lines. For many, the government's economic message isn't matching their lived reality. This disconnect is fueling the drop in support. Political polarization remains intense, with opposition to Lula as fierce as ever. Among Bolsonaro's 2022 voters, disapproval of Lula's government soared to 77%. This opposition is vocal, organized, and amplified by social media, making it hard for the government to shift the narrative. Evangelicals and university-educated Brazilians also show strong disapproval, each for different reasons. The electorate is locked into camps, leaving little room for consensus or crossover. With the base eroding and the opposition entrenched, Lula's path to regaining approval is narrow. The government must first stabilize its own support before it can hope to win over skeptics. Polarization is now a defining feature of Brazil's political landscape. Low approval weakens a president's ability to govern. Congress becomes less cooperative, and coalition allies demand more in exchange for support. Key reforms stall, and the government's agenda slows to a crawl. Public discontent can spill into protests and strikes, further destabilizing the administration. A president with 24% approval risks being seen as a lame duck, emboldening both opposition and institutions like the judiciary. The government is forced into a defensive posture, reacting to crises instead of setting the agenda. The February poll was more than a warning, it was a signal of a tougher, more contested road ahead. Navigating this landscape will require new strategies and political agility. To reverse the negative trend, the government must address economic concerns head-on. This means real action on inflation, jobs, and social programs, not just promises. Rebuilding trust with core supporters, especially in the Northeast and among the poor, is essential. Political negotiation will be tougher. The government may need to compromise more in Congress. Cabinet changes and direct engagement with social movements could help restore confidence. If conditions don't improve, the administration may shift from ambitious reforms to political survival mode. The next months will test the government's ability to adapt and reconnect with the public. The stakes are high. Failure could mean a prolonged period of instability and low approval. The February 2025 poll was a wake-up call for Brazil's leaders. Lula's record low approval reflects not just opposition attacks, but real discontent among his own base. Economic hardship and unmet expectations have eroded trust across the country. The government can't rely on past loyalties. It must deliver tangible improvements to regain support. This moment demands more than spin. It requires action that changes daily life for ordinary Brazilians. The poll's message is clear. The public expects results, not excuses. The numbers invite a deeper national conversation about democracy, leadership, and the path forward. Only by listening to this pulse can Brazil's leaders hope to rebuild trust and move the country ahead.